We first visited multi-award-winning sheep and beef farmers Nelson and Fiona Hancock's in 2012. Since then, they've expanded their business to run 3 farms that produce around 30,000 lambs a year. Both Nelson and Fiona are actively working to improve the position of sheep and beef farmers across New Zealand. Nelson was a participant at a 2014 Rabobank Global Farmers Masterclass held in Sydney, meeting with over 600 farmers and agribusiness professionals from around the world. Fiona was recently appointed to the board of Silver Fern Farms and has been involved in the Meat Industry Excellence Group, or MIE.
Back in November 2014, I got the opportunity to apply for the Rabobank Masterclass in Australia. It was the second time it's been held, the Masterclass. The first was 2 years ago in the Netherlands, and it was such a success. So they've selected 40 farmers from across 9 countries, and it was just an incredible networking with some very large and also medium and small scale operators from around the world, but all with huge vision and a passion for the industries they were involved in. 40% of the people were involved in dairy farming, probably 15% were sheep and beef, and then there was citrus fruit, coffee, potatoes and carrots. The key thing I took away from the masterclass was, without scale and collaboration in your industry, the supermarkets really dictated the end price you were going to receive. And I've come home with a far greater global perspective and passion to really amalgamate and get some collaboration within our meat industry in New Zealand. The F20 was for us to put a paper to the G20, to global food security, and looking to the future with the population increasing from 7 billion to 9 billion in 25 years, and with 40% of the world's food wasted between harvest and consumption, the world and the farmers and the consumers need to improve that substantially. There was a lot of talk around people, and to grow a successful business, you need people that are passionate and educated and motivated to grow with you. And I'm certainly going to look at some share farming type arrangements with staff and maybe with other talented people within our industry. There's still huge growth left in our business. Attending the masterclass really gave me a global perspective on farm succession and the number of families within that class that were really growing the business as a family with well-educated family, and I think we can achieve a lot by incorporating and doing that. The industry's at a real crossroads. I think we're really at a tipping point. We need much greater collaboration. We need amalgamation of our cooperatives for a start, and they are farmer owned, and both cooperatives are doing very, very good things on farm in the marketplace, but there's just far too much duplication, and farmers are paying for that duplication with research and development and marketing overseas. We're losing our strength against the supermarkets. Backing off in terms of the day-to-day, but very, very much involved in the industry with Fiona, with MIE, and standing for Silver Fern Farms. We've got a real passion to drive the sheep and beef industry forward. I'm on the grower advisory panel for Wools of New Zealand. We're producing around 700 to 800 bales of wool annually, which is 160 odd tonne, and it's a big part of our income stream. So I'm really passionate about increasing the price of wool as well.
I suppose 2 years ago we started with MIE. We were increasingly getting frustrated with the lack of viability in our industry. I've got 4 children, and succession is incredibly important to Nelson and I. So that started me in that MIE field. I just thought, enough's enough. We're the leading exporters of lamb, we're the 5th highest leader exporting beef, and yet, sheep and beef farmers can't remain viable, and we're losing sheep numbers, 1 million a year for the last 30 years. I mean, it's ridiculous that if, we should be leading the world in our prices, and we're certainly not. So, yeah, frustration. Succession, I want a better red meat industry for the future, and not just for my future, but for New Zealand. MIE, it's meat industry excellence, and we're grassroots farmers like everyone else, but for us the advantage is that we're apolitical. Beef and lamb are doing really good stuff behind the farm gate. Federated Farmers, fantastic stuff, politically, and both really good organisations, but they have to be apolitical. Whereas, at MIE, we can actually talk to processes, we can talk to government, and we can say things that people are uncomfortable about, but they're true. We need to have viability. Profit shouldn't be a dirty word in our industry. Farmers need profit so we can reinvest. I think we do have to get profitability back into our co-ops. I think co-ops are the only way that farmers will get the profits back to them, and I think that is their strength. That we should be concentrating on making them an extension of our own farming business, that we should treat the processes like our business. So it should be two-way communication so that they are also doing really well, so they can invest in the co-op, technology, best practice, efficient marketing, and we're trying to encourage farmers back to the co-ops so that we can be successful going forward. It's so sensible to amalgamate. We've got 16 processing companies, 30 companies processing our meats to the world. We're competing within New Zealand before we compete on the world stage. It's crazy, and I'm sure the supermarkets want us to remain dysfunctional, and we've got to go forward.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.